spirituality in action. Let us first understand the very word spirituality, and then understand how to bring it into action. In order to understand this subject, we also have to understand the difference between religion and spirituality. Many people get so confused when we say ours is a spiritual organization. They put us in religious organization. And then we say it's a socio-spiritual organization, an educational organization, but they don't understand, and they still put us in religious organization. Or they consider the Brahma Kumaris to be some sect, because sect here indicates some religion, some branch of a religion. And we are still fighting for that in some countries, that we are not a sect, we are not a religious organization, but we are a socio-spiritual, educational organization, which is for all religions, without any bias towards any religion. We don't convert anyone. We say you can become a better Christian, you can become a better Hindu, a better Muslim, a better Buddhist. Because the word religion today is totally, as Baba says, the name itself has been spoilt, in the sense that the word religion is a wrong meaning for the original word dharma. This word dharma is, even in Buddhism, it comes from the Sanskrit word. Actually, dharma is a Sanskrit word which means inculcation, or dharana as we call it. Something which is to be imbibed in life. Something which is to be practiced from inside. The true meaning of that, or the true word for that, is dharma. But it's wrongly translated as religion. And therefore many people, they shun, they try to go away from this very word religion. I remember when I was in Italy, I filled a form in order to go to the Vatican, because the Pope was to give a lecture on that day, and I was fortunate indeed to be present on that day so that I could visit his congregation. And he was lecturing that day. So I had to fill a form. And in that form, there were various columns about to which religion I belonged. So Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, many columns. And there was one column, no religion. Also no religion. And many were filling in that, no religion. They were putting a tick mark. So we don't belong to any religion. So now, what religion should we put? We can't even say no religion, because definitely we are religious-minded people. We are not atheists. So then they said, no, you just put Hindu, doesn't matter, because my parents are from Hindu religion. But then Baba gives us the true meaning of the word religion when Baba says it is really an inculcation. And the best word for that would be spirituality. Actually, some again misinterpret between spirituality and spiritualism. Some think it is the same thing. Actually, the word spiritualism has something to do with occult powers, with invoking wandering spirits, many such things. It has a lot to do with the magical powers, and even that's called spiritualism. But spirituality is a very, very pure word. And when that is gone into the depth of, it is the true knowledge which Baba is giving to us. It's a practical way of living. It's the art of living. That is the meaning of true spirituality. It is the art of experiencing values in life by having a true link with the Supreme through a proper understanding of the Self and the Supreme. That's spirituality. And Baba is teaching us true spirituality. And when many people ask us, are you Hindus? Are you a Hindu? So Baba says even this word Hindu is a misnomer in the sense that the true religion is deity religion. The word Hindu has come from the word Sindhu. And Sindhu is a river in northern India which goes through also Pakistan. And Ladakh, Leh Ladakh, Kashmir, that side, and goes through Sindh province. Very big river. And on the bank of this river was a very, very powerful civilization. Actually, Baba says, in Golden Age, the whole civilization was on the bank of rivers. So in the original civilizations were all on the bank of rivers, neither on the sea, the seashore, nor on the mountains, only on the bank of rivers. And Golden Age is a beautiful example of that. Baba also says that Sri Krishna plays the bank of river Jamuna, which is around Delhi. And therefore from the word Sindhu, the word Hindu came. The Britishers could not pronounce Sindhu, so they said Hindu, and they also pronounce as Indus. And the Sindhu civilization became Indus civilization. And from the word Indus came the word India. So India, Hindu, the original word is Sindhu, from the province Sindh, where the Sindhu river flows and there's an ancient civilization thrived there. Even till today they keep digging and they get so many things from underneath. But Baba says the original deity religion is your true religion. And the word deity in Hindi, it means devata. And devata or deity means the one who has divinity. So spirituality actually deals with divinity. And they were the divine beings. God made man in his own image. God put all his qualities in a human being. And they were the deities who were next to God. But then, when Copper Age came, how all this changed. There's a long history that even before Abraham and Muhammad, people there used to worship gods and goddesses, deities, idols they used to worship. But then Abraham and also Muhammad They came and said, no, God is one, not all this. But then Baba says, you are the ancestors. You are the original jewels who came in at the beginning of Golden Age. And your religion was based on the divinity in you. But from Copper Age onwards, the religion was based on the prophet souls, on the name of the prophet soul, nothing to do with divinity. Therefore, Christianity from the word Christ, Buddhism from Buddha, and so on. And the beauty of the divinity of Golden Age is that the creator of that religion is God Himself. But His name is not in the religion's name. It's based on the divine acts of the deities. And that's really spirituality, which Baba teaches us at this confluence age. And the word education also means that spirituality and education are not different. The word educare means something to draw out from within, to draw out. You know, that's, I think, Latin or Greek. What word is it? Greek or Latin? Latin. So educare leads to education, something to draw out from within. And spirituality is the same thing, to draw out from within. And what is to draw out? Values. Something which are part of the soul. And they have to be brought into action. And that's what spirituality is. Spirituality is not just in books. It's not just written, but it is something in action. Something to be practiced more than to be preached. Something to be taken inspiration from more than just to be spoken in words. And therefore, we say that when Copper Age began, these religions which started, they were needed in order to support the world. And therefore the prophet souls came, they preached. But there was more of preaching than of practice. Though when the prophet souls were in their living form, their apostles practiced whatever the prophet souls preached. And they were the true symbols of that religion. That golden age stage of their religion was there. But then gradually everything went into a decline stage. Even the deities went into a decline stage. And as we see at the end of Kali Yuga, everything has deteriorated. The original deity souls, they went into so many other religions. And now Baba is once again establishing that deity religion. Not just a deity religion, but also a deity family. Not just a religion and a family, but also a deity kingdom. So all three in one, and this is what spirituality leads to. Spirituality does not make us hermits or sannyasis, recluses, going into the forest, jungle, and just doing tapasya. But it is living in the world, but leading a life of balance. And that is spirituality. And Baba gives the beautiful example of a lotus. Living in the world, but yet not being of the world. In the world, yes, but not of the world. Like a lotus. It is in the water and yet it's not affected by the water. You want to say something? Yes? Please speak up. Please stand and speak. Yeah. Loudly. Pardon? Yes. Why are there so many followers of? Yes. They did not have followers. No, because they were just philosophers, no? So philosophers were not meant to establish a religion. They were just philosophers. They just preached a philosophy. Prophet souls had their own duty of establishing a religion. So the philosophers didn't preach to that extent. They just maybe preached and that was it. It wasn't called a branch. They didn't create any branches of the religion, but prophet souls had that role of creating a branch from the tree. So Aristotle, Socrates, Plato, and they were the ancient philosophers. And they did mention about self, they did mention about the Supreme, but that was it. And therefore so many philosophies came into existence. We say that all these philosophies came into existence on the basis of the experience of individuals. But for the prophet souls, it was not just based on experience. It was based on the pure soul entering the body and speaking through that one. So philosophers didn't have another soul entering in their body and speaking. That's a very big difference. You understand? Later on you can speak to me, okay? Yeah. So, but these prophet souls, they were not philosophers. Like Jesus was not a philosopher from birth. He didn't speak of many philosophies. Buddha was a prince. They were not philosophers. But all of a sudden, they got the enlightenment. Or they did some tapasya and got enlightenment. That's the story of the prophet souls. Because another soul entered in their body and spoke. So that was a knowledgeable soul which spoke through their mouth. But the philosophers they had their own concepts. Whatever they got, whatever experiences they got in life, they just preached that. And that's why so many concepts came in this world. So many concepts. It's not just one religion having one concept. In one religion also so many concepts. That is why the bifurcations came in every religion. That's why today they are fighting. Why are amongst Christians, we have the Roman Catholics, we have the Protestants, we have so many Anglicans, so many different, and they are just, fighting among the Muslims also, among the Hindus also. Every religion, even amongst Buddhists. I was surprised to know that even among the Buddhists, they say, oh, this is different, that is different, that is different. It's not the same. And they have their own Buddhist temples, or like Christians have their own churches. For Protestants, different church. For Anglicans, another church. For Roman Catholics, another church. So they have their own churches. So everyone has been separated because of different philosophies in each religion. The prophet's soul was the same. And then they had their own experiences, so the concepts changed. But they all became like different sects. But Baba says that you are the seed. You are the ancestors. You are the direct creation of the Supreme. It's such a big difference. And Baba is now giving us the essence of everything, like the seed. And this essence includes all the religions. Actually, what the other religions took up or mentioned or spoke about or delivered is just part of what Baba gives, the essence. And they elaborated in that way. Or whatever was a need at that time in the cycle, they elaborated on that. And it became a branch. But at this time, when we are reaching the end of the cycle, Baba, the Supreme Father, has come to again make it the essence form. Just like you have a seed at the top of the tree. When the whole tree deteriorates, you have the seed, and the seed is planted again, and then you get the tree once more. So Baba says, now you are the seed, the master seeds. And at this time, religion, kingdom, and family, all the three are being established together by God. And that is spirituality. So what exactly is spirituality? Spirituality means, the first thing is awareness of the self. The great philosophers did mention, know thyself, know thyself, know thyself. But they couldn't elaborate it much. They were only questioning. That's why philosophy means just questioning. Hardly any answer. There's more questions than answers, in philosophy. Because it's just their own experience, and the other one will share his own experience, the other one will share his own experience. Because what happens, Baba says, that each soul, whatever feelings he keeps, on the basis of that he gets his experience. If someone believes in Krishna, and he thinks Krishna is his God, yes, he wants no one else, Krishna is God for him, he will get a vision of Krishna. If somebody believes, Christ is God, and I believe only in Christ, he'll get a vision of Christ. But the soul of Christ did not give him that vision. The soul of Krishna did not give him that vision, no? Who gave him that vision? Who gave him that vision? Yeah, the Supreme is one. Because those souls are now in the downfall stage, in the deteriorated stage. So how can they give a vision? Now this no one knows. But each one gets the fruit or the reward of his feelings. As is the feeling of an individual, that on the basis of that is a result of the reward. But it is Baba who fulfills that desire. Now this is so beautiful, this to understand. That all of them are human souls. But the Supreme is one. So once we understand spirituality, we understand that that's the Supreme One who is giving the knowledge of the self. And when that is understood, we don't have to go into other concepts at all, because in every concept there is a part of this spirituality. Yes, only a part. And then again it becomes bhakti. It becomes some paraphernalia, going into physical aspects of devotion, without going into the essence. Sometimes, we show in our pictures very interesting thing. For example, we say that Shiv Baba is the Supreme, is it not? Now, in Rameshwaram in South India, there is a temple of Shri Ram and Shiva. And they say that Shri Ram, before he entered, he went to Rameshwaram to attack Ravan. He built that Shiva temple, worshipped Shiva, and took strength from Shiva so that he could attack Ravan and kill him. So we say that Shiva is the god of Shri Ram. We show a picture. Now, then they say that Hanuman is a devotee of Shri Ram. Hanuman. So people worship, Ram worshipped Shiva, then Hanuman worshipped Ram, and then there may be a devotee of Hanuman, the one who worships Hanuman. So that one is also worshipped. Then there may be a devotee of that one who worshipped Hanuman. You understand? And there's a long list. The top is Shiva. But Shiva's devotee Shri Ram, Ram's devotee Hanuman, Hanuman's devotee someone, and someone's devotee someone else, someone's devotee someone else. Ultimately, people will worship that last one, and the original one is forgotten. Did you get my point? This is where bhakti spreads. The original seed is forgotten. And therefore, when we say Raj Yoga, it means the king of all types of yogas, where the link or union or communion, a connection is with the highest on high. above whom there is no one. For example, even if somebody is remembering Christ, but then Christ also remembered someone. When he was being crucified, he said, "Father, forgive them for all their doings." So, whom did Christ remember when he was being crucified? There's someone higher than him. So that one is the one whom we are remembering. When we teach Raj Yoga, we say this. What exactly is Raj Yoga? Raj Yoga means the king of all types of yogas. No? The king. King means where the link is with the highest. The method is the highest. And the achievements also the highest. Now this is spirituality. So awareness of the true self. And that's actually even people in the world say, have confidence in yourself, your mind is very powerful, you can do this, you can do that, nothing is impossible for you. Those who teach creative lessons, those who teach positive thinking in the world also they teach. But the only thing lacking is they do not have the knowledge of the soul. Who has that creativity? Who has that strength? The willpower, the peace, the love. Okay, all within you, but who? Even if they say soul, they don't understand what the soul means. But Baba has very clearly given us the complete knowledge of the soul. Not just that a soul is eternal, immortal, it has its value, virtues in it, but it has a role of 84 lives in that tiny little soul. This is such an interesting thing, or something which may not be understood by many. Tiny little soul having such a big role to play, and that also eternal role which can never be erased. That's why Baba says this is the wonder. This is the true miracle. So Baba gives us the true knowledge of the soul, and that's spirituality. It's a soul which has all these values, all these virtues. And I am that tiny little soul. Many people do say that too, but then again, how to be detached from the body consciousness and to be aware of the self as that soul, that again is a very, very difficult subject for people, and they don't want to go into that. And they take it to be part of religion. And then they forget, and they say, just go into nothingness, just go into blankness, just concentrate on your breath, concentrate on some mantra. But awareness of the self and then awareness of the Supreme, they think that's part of religion. And we say, no, it's not part of religion, it is part of spirituality. Where you are taken to the seed, and once you have got hold of the seed, there is nothing else for you to desire, nothing else for you to even, go for. You have got hold of the seed. It's like getting the key to all the treasures. You don't have to go for each treasure separately. If you want to water the tree, you don't have to water every seed, every leaf. Just water the seed, and the whole tree is watered. So we get the seed in spirituality. Self is the seed. The Supreme is the seed above whom there is no one. And that's spirituality. Therefore, there are no restrictions of religions here. My religion, your religion. That's why Baba takes us beyond religions. Because all religions are based on body consciousness now. Because they are the result of a prophet soul. And therefore they pay attention to the prophet soul rather than to the Supreme whom the prophet soul remembered. And then the third aspect of spirituality is karma. The karma philosophy. Now some people do give emphasis to karma philosophy, but they do not give emphasis to God. In Buddhism, they give a lot of emphasis to karma philosophy. but no emphasis on God, the Supreme. So something is always missing somewhere, And because of that missing link, they are not able to become whole. They are not able to reach the seed. So Baba deals with karma philosophy so much. Baba talks about the different types of karmas. It's such a deep subject because you can't just bifurcate, or differentiate, this is bad karma and that is good karma. You can't do it immediately because everything in this world is relative. Everything is relative. Definitely. Killing is a sin. But what about the soldiers who are on the battlefield and they have to face the enemy in order to protect their countrymen? If they say that killing is a sin and just put their guns down, what will happen? What will happen? Yes. So is killing a sin for them or not a sin? Pardon? It's their duty. There, if they say killing is a sin and they don't shoot, that is a greater sin. So, that's why Baba says in this world everything is relative, no doubt. But yes, one point is certain. Like Baba tells the soldiers, you may kill, but you may shoot, but shoot in my remembrance. Shoot, but remember me and shoot. Then what will happen? You are in your soul conscious stage. You are in Baba's remembrance and you are just doing your duty of shooting. And therefore, you are not sinned. Because you have a very big responsibility. We always, when we speak to soldiers, we tell them this. We speak in front of soldiers too. We say, it is definitely a sin, but not on the battlefield, because there it will be just killing one enemy. And you are, with keeping that in mind, you are actually saving 1 billion people of India. So will you go for saving one person or will you go for saving 1 billion people? What is more important? Of course, you will go for saving 1 billion people, and that's your duty. That's why you are on the border. And therefore we feel more courage in them. But we tell them, yes, you may shoot, but shoot in the remembrance of the Supreme. You are only doing your duty. And you are a soul. Remember also, even if you are shooting, you are not shooting the soul. The soul cannot die, it's only the body. And this is the essence of the Gita. Actually, if you go to see the Gita, it's nothing but spirituality. It has nothing to do with any religion. It has nothing to do with any personal gods. I would like to share with you in essence from the Gita. And Baba says, I am narrating or I am speaking the true Gita at this time. The story is very simple of the Gita, the Mahabharata. That the battle is started and Arjuna has to fight. Krishna is with Arjuna, God is with Arjuna. I won't go into the beginning and the end, but just the battle part and the Gita part. And Arjuna refuses to fight. He refuses. Everybody on the battlefield and he just has to fight. The enemy is in front and he is not ready to fight. And God is telling him, Arjuna, fight. Take your bow and arrow and fight. You are on a battlefield. If you won't fight, you will be called a coward. Therefore, fight. But Arjuna refuses to fight. He's just put his bow and arrow down. And God is asking him, why? Why aren't you doing your duty? He says, but those in front of me are my own family men. my kinsmen, my kith and kin, my uncles, my cousins and my gurus, all on the other side, you expect me to kill them? Because he had become attached. The attachment was so strong in him that he refused to take up his bow and arrow and shoot. Now just see the whole Gita. God is giving him the understanding of what he should do. The first chapter of the Gita tells all about the battlefield. Everyone is ready on the battlefield, ready to start the fight. This one blows his conch, that one blows his conch, and that one comes on his elephant, that one, everybody is coming on his chariot, ready to fight on the battlefield. And here Arjuna sitting in his chariot, refusing to fight. That's the first chapter. Now the second chapter is where God is telling Arjuna about the soul knowledge. God is telling to Arjuna, why do you think that you are going to kill anyone? You cannot kill anyone because the soul is eternal. Now this is knowledge of the soul. See, keeping that physical battlefield in view, the knowledge is nothing but of the soul. Arjuna, you cannot really kill anybody. You just do your duty because you really cannot kill. The soul is eternal and the whole knowledge is of the soul. The soul is never born, the soul never dies, it just takes a body and leaves the body, and that is called birth and death and so on. Not everything else, everything about the soul. And God thinks, well, now Arjuna will understand and he will just do the duty of shooting. But Arjuna doesn't understand. He doesn't understand. Because internally he's attached. The attachment is so strong in him that whatever God is telling to him, it just goes over his head. It doesn't enter him. Well, now the next chapter, God is telling Arjuna, you know who you are? You are a Kshatriya, you are a warrior. A warrior is meant to fight. And if you don't fight, what your future generations will think of you? They will think that you were a coward. They will look upon you as a coward. You will not be remembered as a Kshatriya, as a warrior. Therefore, think of your duty, think of your responsibility, and go ahead. But he says, you know what he says? He says, I don't care. I don't want anyone to be killed by me. Even if I have knowledge of the soul, doesn't matter. But why should I become responsible for killing them? I don't want to kill, He is trying to be very weak. And he refuses to kill. He doesn't think that he is responsible. And again, God goes further. Then is the third thing God is telling him, see, later on the chapters, he's giving him a vision of the result of the battlefield. The result is that all the Kauravas are dead. Everyone is dead. And God is telling him, Arjuna, the destiny of them is to die. They are bound to die. And you are bound to be victorious. Victory will be with you. It's destined for you to be victorious. The future is being revealed to Arjuna. And therefore, just do your duty. Don't worry about anything else. You will be victorious and they will die. They have to die. But then he says, but why should I become responsible for killing them? He tells us, if they have to die, let them die. It's on their own. But I should not become responsible. And then he says, what's the use of such a victory if I'm just killing them and becoming victorious? On whom will I rule if I am killing everybody? What's the use of ruling if I am going to get a kingdom only by killing somebody? I don't want such a rule. He just gives up. He refuses to fight. And then later on, when he still refuses to fight, then they show that God reveals his real form in front of him. and tells him, Arjuna, do you know who is telling you this? It's not an ordinary human being, but it is the Supreme Himself. So God gives him his vision. And when he realizes the form of Vishnu, they show there, but it's all mixed up, no? Actually it is Shiv Baba. They also show light. Arjuna sees the light. Arjuna sees that variety form of Vishnu, many things. And then he hears a sound that it's not an ordinary person telling you this, because he was saying only in ordinary form, Krishna, in human form. He didn't realize that it is God telling me. But then when God reveals to him his true form, Arjuna says, now I have realized. Now I surrender unto you and I will do whatever you tell me. I did not realize it up to now because of attachment. And the last chapter is, I have conquered attachment and I have got the awareness and therefore I will fight. In between there are many things. Arjuna is being told by God, Arjuna, you and I have met many times before. You have been victorious many times before. It's not a new thing for you. You have to just do the action. Everything is destined. It is all fixed. You have done this many times before, and therefore just recollect what you did in the past and do it again. It's all the whole knowledge what Baba is giving to us. But again it's mixed up because they talk about God is omnipresent there and everything has become confusing. On one hand it is also mentioned about the Supreme, who God is. God is the highest on high, highest among this, highest among that, highest among that. So it means the highest, above whom there is no one. But again, God is everywhere. So that has become confusing in the Gita. And therefore, the true God is not known. And then they think Krishna spoke. So Shiva, the Supreme, spoke, and through an ordinary medium, that's not understood. And therefore, Baba says you have to explain to everybody that the sermonizer of the Gita is the Supreme Father Himself. Actually, 3 biographies have been mixed up. No? That's why the confusion. The biography of Shiv Baba, the biography of Krishna, and the biography of Brahma. All the 3 have been mixed up. Because it's a confluence. Now Brahma becomes Krishna, Shiv Baba enters the body of Brahma and makes him Krishna. But all the 3 biographies have been mixed up. Brahma no one knows. And that's why Krishna is in the picture. And that's what Baba is saying. You have to prove to the world that God of the Gita is Shiva. And He is the Supreme, and Gita is the mother of all the religions. Because it is spirituality. It has nothing to do with any particular religion. But it's so confusing in the world because people don't know who soul is or who God is. The karma philosophy is so clearly written in the Gita. Hey Arjuna, you just do your duty. Don't think of the fruit. Don't think of the reward. Don't think of anything else. You will get your reward. You just do your duty. So doing your duty well is very well mentioned in the Gita. That's why we say Gita is the scripture of karma philosophy. And that's what spirituality means. Understanding karma philosophy in its true aspect. What to do when? Because between the seed and the tree and the fruit, there is a big gap. Many steps. The fruit doesn't come straight away from the seed. The seed needs a good field. It needs a good soil. That's the first step for the seed. The next step is it should be watered. The third step is it should be protected. The fourth step is that it should, when the fruit is coming, it should be made to ripe. It should ripen. And then after it is ripened, it should be eaten and not wasted. So you do your karma, yes. And what I am reaping at this moment is the fruit of my past karma. Because cause leads to an effect, and effect leads to another, is a cause for another effect, and this becomes a cycle. So what I have now is what I am reaping of my past. And whatever I have to make good use of it. Make it be used in a worthwhile way, because only then I'll be able to create for the future. If I'm just wasting it, for example, I have good health now. My good health is because I must have really served through my body before. Therefore, I have good health now. I have a lot of wealth. It's because I must have helped with my wealth in the past. That's why I have good wealth now. But whatever I have is a fruit, which I have to use in a worthwhile way, so that it becomes a seed for another fruit. But if I waste it, then I'm not going to get anything in the future. So I have to make the best use of the present. That's why it is said, no? Past is history, future is mystery, present is a gift. Past is history. Learn from the past. Don't repent or regret or keep mourning over the past or remembering the past. Just take the essence of it and don't repeat it for the future. And future is a mystery. You don't know what will happen. Don't worry about that too. But present is a gift. Make the best use of it. Because the present has two things. The present means karma. Do the best. And present also means the result of what you have done in the past. So make the best use of what you already have. That's the fruit of your past. And only then you can save for the future. But it doesn't mean that live in the present means eat, drink and be merry. No, that's not living in the present. Living in the present means making the best use of the present. Learning from the past and not repeating the mistake in the present, and making the present be used in a worthwhile way for the future. That's living in the present. And that's what spirituality teaches us. The karma philosophy. And the fourth aspect of spirituality is the aspect of time. What to do when? Therefore, Baba says, now is the time, now or never. Shiv Baba did not come in Copper Age to teach this knowledge. Many people say, they tell us, they ask us rather, why did Copper Age and Iron Age have to come at all in the cycle? Well, Golden Age, Silver Age, we understand, but as soon as Silver Age ended, it should have become Golden Age again. Why Copper Age and Iron Age? Why did God have to wait to come only, and come only at the end of Iron Age when there's so much of sorrow and suffering in the world? If He's a Father, if He's our protector, if He's our liberator, our purifier, He should have just got hold of us at the very beginning. Why did He have to wait till the end for us to fall completely and then pick us up? So what is the answer? What is the answer for this? Is He merciful? If He waits and waits till the end when we have fallen and then He said, okay, now rise. Why did He make us fall at all? Yes? Pardon? Speak loudly. Everything has to fall. All the souls. So all the souls have to fall. Only then God will come. Well, I know you know the answers, but this is what the people say. But Baba says, very interestingly, Baba says, if Baba would have come in Copper Age, you would have never understood this knowledge. You would have never taken this knowledge. Why? Why would you have never taken this knowledge? Because, let me tell you, when Copper Age began, all the prophet souls who came, they taught only about renunciation. See, at the beginning, Buddha renounced, Of course, they did talk about renunciation. They did talk about heaven too. But then Baba says the souls of other religions will not be able to understand this knowledge very much. Only the souls of golden age and silver age will be able to understand this knowledge very well. Why? Because they believe in moksha, in liberation. And like for example in some religions they will say this world is an illusion. The sannyasis say that. Illusion, all this is maya. They don't believe that in this world there could be a heavenly kingdom. They think heaven is somewhere else. Even in Christianity, Paramdham and Satyug have been mixed up. When it is said, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Which heaven? Which heaven? Paramdham or Satyug? Our Father which art in heaven. So which Father is in heaven? The Supreme Father is in heaven. So heaven means where they expect heaven to be. So there again is confusing, no? Huh? On earth. On earth also. So on earth also there is heaven, as in heaven above. Therefore Baba does say that peace in this world, peace in the soul world. Now, if you want peace along with happiness, okay, then in this world. If you want only peace, then Paramdham. But see, Baba is giving us the clear knowledge so well that now we can experience mukti and jivan mukti both. If Baba would have come only in copper age and said, okay children, you have to return home, nobody would have wanted to return home. But yes, those who were in sorrow, they did say that they wanted moksha. But nobody was to go in moksha at that time. All had to come down the ladder. So God comes only at this time when He has to take back the souls home. That's why Baba tells in the Murlis that I'm the only messenger. No one else is a real messenger also. I mean, it's such a big challenge. They are not messengers. The Prophet's souls are not messengers. Because message is only one. Which is the message? The message is only one. The message is of returning home. And when they come in this world, they bring down the souls of their religions. Therefore, they don't take any souls back home. They do talk about heaven. Because in that time they are in their golden age stage, no doubt. But then they do talk about destruction also, because the souls have in their sanskars destruction. They are able to see destruction. They are able to visualize golden age also, but it is a copper age golden age. That is why in the scriptures, in the Indian scriptures too, they talk about deities and devils along with the deities. They don't know that when deities existed, devils did not exist at all. And that's why it's very confusing. But Baba says, when deities were there, devils didn't exist at all. And when devils are there, deities don't exist at all. And they think that they existed together. So Baba gives us the essence of all the scriptures and makes us realize that this is the real time to change. Even if other souls did try to bring about a change, but that change led them only to start a new religion. That led them to make a new branch, that's all. Because they could not go to the seed. They were attached to the Prophet's soul only. They couldn't go further than that. Though they did understand that the Prophet's soul did make them point, did point to the Supreme. Like for example, Guru Nanak, the Sikh religion. The whole scripture of the Sikhs has nothing but the praise of God as light. Everything is about God as light. But still, if you ask the Sikh religion, they will believe only in Guru Nanak. Yes, that's it. But Guru Nanak mentioned about God as light, and they have to remember the light, that they don't realize. The same thing is in every religion. Therefore, Baba says, spirituality is taught only by the Supreme. Knowledge of the self, knowledge of the Supreme, knowledge of karma, knowledge of the cycle, the three aspects of time. And this knowledge is needed only now and for now only. Given only now. It will not be there in the whole cycle again. Deities will not have this knowledge. It's not needed there. Why? Because Baba gives the reason. If deities would have this knowledge that they are going to fall, they would not experience the happiness of Golden Age. Therefore, this knowledge is not there at all. They are royal Buddhas, just reaping the fruit of their good karmas, the righteous actions, and gradually coming down the ladder. Can you call deities as spiritual beings? Can you say? Can you call them religious beings? Deities? They're just divine beings, just symbols of visions, that's all. Embodiments of divinity, that's all. You can't say religious being, or you can't even say spiritual being. So, above religion is spirituality, and above spirituality is divinity. So they go one after the other. And now we say, yes, we are spiritual. And we are reaching that divinity stage. And in this spiritual stage, we cannot be given the halo. The halo is of light is only with the deities, only with the divine beings, not with anybody else, not with human beings, only with deities. Yes, prophet souls are given the halo because the new soul comes from the soul world, which is enlightened. But Baba says, at this time even those souls have reached the degraded stage and they have to take that power from God once again so that they're able to come in the copper age and deliver that enlightenment to the souls. Because at this time they forget everything. Everything is forgotten. Because each one becomes body conscious. And all that which is done in religions is only based on the physical paraphernalia. That's all. The devotion has become so degraded. Degraded in different forms. Degraded because the selfish motives have come. The jealousy has come. The hatred has come. The vices have come. That's why everything has become degraded. Everything has become external show only. And therefore Baba says, you have to go beyond. You have to go beyond. Baba talks about unlimited disinterest, unlimited, unlimited renunciation. Without renouncing anything physically. Therefore, this is the middle path. We don't have to go into either extremes. One extreme end is total materialism, totally materialistic, all the vices. Because materialism means vices. The five senses lead to the vices. All the five vices, If we think of it in an individual basis, the sense of touch leads to sex lust. The sense of smell, greed, sense of taste, attachment, sense of smell, ego, sense of hearing. No. Yes? Pardon? Sense of smell. This is something interesting. Sense of smell is attachment. You want that particular perfume only. You want that particular smell only. You want to sleep with your dog only because you get the smell from your dog. You want to sleep with your cushion. You want to sleep on that particular bed because the flavor, the fragrance. So you want to smell that first, and then you are comfortable. This is attachment. You understand? On a subtle level. Why some people want a pillow only, to sleep with? Can't sleep without a pillow, and they smell that pillow, and then they get good sleep. They want to sleep with their dog because they smell the dog and then get their sleep. Yes, it's very true, because that is attachment, sense of smell. Pardon? For protection. I don't think so. Protection, why do you need physical protection? What protection is there? Your protection is with God. You don't need any physical protection. The true, of course, physically, supposing it's cold, okay, you put on, you wear a quilt and all that. That's different. But you want that particular smell, you want that particular surrounding, you want that particular thing. But if you're with God, you don't care for all these things. I don't know if it comes in the newspapers of the West, but in India it comes. They show in photographs in the newspapers. Somebody sleeping on a parapet wall, so comfortably. Parapet wall. I mean, he can just, if he turns, he'll fall down. He's sleeping on the bench in a park, so comfortably. So you don't need a particular place to sleep. If your sleep comes, it can come anywhere. And if it is not to come, it will not come even in the coziest of places. Sleep is more important than that cozy quilt and that mattress and that, But here Baba says, you just sleep in Baba's lap. You don't have to see the physical things. I'm in Baba's lap. Yes, Baba, I'm with you. And in a second, just become detached from the body. And that's it. Surrender everything to Baba. Close your accounts of the whole day. Sleep with your true companion. Nothing is physical. So, where's the question of smell? Yes? Pardon? Can't hear you. Between? 5 elements and the 5 vices. Well, see, the 5 elements are, you can think of from gross to subtle. The same thing is with these vices, from gross to subtle. See, earth, water, fire, air and ether. They are the 5 elements. So gross is earth. And you can compare sex lust, yes, to earth, yes. Then sex lust, anger to fire. Sex lust. Then, yes, greed you can compare to water. Fire is anger, and attachment is air, and ego is ether, like that. It's subtle. It's not visible, but the grossest forms are visible. The physical is sex lust. Of course, subtle form of that is there, but the physical, Baba says, it takes you down completely. It's like falling from the 5th floor. Sex lust. Ego is so subtle, nobody comes to know. Body consciousness is more subtle, but then body consciousness could be there till the end of the body because the body is there with us. But ego, arrogance, people don't realize that they are arrogant, that they are egoistic. They think it is needed. Actually, in the world, people think all the 5 vices are essential. No, that's what they think. How can you live without anger? How can you live without greed? How can you live without attachment? How can you live without ego? It's part of life. And Baba says, no, it's not. You are a soul, so different. So the 5 vices and the 5 elements and the 5 senses, that's how they are correlated. And Baba is taking us beyond. A soul is a dot. Become a dot, remember a dot and apply a dot. Everything becomes so subtle, so subtle. The whole consciousness is made essence-full. That is spirituality. And religion, you are spreading and spreading and spreading. Everything is becoming materialistic. But yes, Baba tells us, be in the middle. This is the middle path. Don't go into extremes. One extreme end is a materialism, total body consciousness, arrogance, ego, all the vices. And the other extreme end is renouncing everything and becoming a hermit or a recluse and sitting in a forest and just all by yourself and giving torture to the body. That's what some people do. Some sannyasis do. They give so much torture to their body. And then the mind, they try to just suppress their thoughts and try to become blank. And they think everything else is Maya, everything Maya. So that is the other extreme end. You go to Kumbh Melas, it's very interesting to watch these sannyasis, Well, I don't want to describe them much. You must have seen them in films. But they say that they are spiritual. Actually, that's not spirituality. Spirituality is like cleanliness next to godliness. So Baba teaches us the cleanliness. But internal cleanliness, both are equally important. Materialism, maybe they're externally very clean, but internally not clean at all. And the other side, internally maybe they're clean, they're very honest, but externally very dirty. The sannyasis. Yes. And here Baba is teaching us a middle path. Don't renounce anything physically, but in a second you should be able to go beyond when needed. Therefore Baba is teaching us, do not be attached to the facilities. Because at the end, if you remember even one of them, your mind will be pulled, your intellect will be pulled there, and you will lose the test, the exam. Therefore, the last paper will be of 1 second only 1 second. If at that time anything else is remembered, fail. So that's the hardest test, at the end. And that's what is in the Gita when Arjuna says, yes, God, I have now realized, I renounce the attachment and I will fight. So the fight is against the vices. The fight is against the pull towards the senses. That's why they always show 5 there, 5. 5 horses they sometimes show. So that's the senses. And God is my protector. So in the Gita it is shown that Arjuna is, when he's starting to fight, Krishna is holding the reins. The reins are not in the hands of Arjuna. The reins of the horses are in the hands of Krishna. And Arjuna is just fighting. That's all. He's using the bow and arrow. So God takes charge of me. And I just fight against Maya. Conquer Maya. But Baba is now telling us to go even beyond that. We don't have to fight a battle anymore. We have to experience the purity in our natural form. That's our highest stage. So we have gone that far. Before Baba used to say you have to move along, you have to go ahead. Then Baba would say you have to run the race. Run the race. And now Baba doesn't say run the race, Baba says fly. Just go beyond in a second. The beautiful example could be, supposing somebody is in deep pain, and he's crying and shouting and screaming, deep pain. When somebody gets a severe heart attack, I have experienced it. Not I experienced, but I mean I've seen someone. Severe heart attack, massive attack, and he's shouting. And the next moment, the soul leaves the body and deep silence. After the severe pain, the soul is out of the body, finished. So the pain, the suffering is there when the soul is in the body. And once it's out, the pain is gone. So once I'm beyond the consciousness of the body, I'm able to be detached, I'm able to go beyond, then I pass. But in order to do that, I need a long time practice. I have a lot of pain and still, can I go beyond? That's my effort. That's what soul consciousness really teaches us. I'm a soul here and I just leave the body behind. I should be able to go beyond the pain in a second. I should be able to connect with that dot in a second. I should be able to apply a dot to my past in a second. That is spirituality. So this is what Baba is teaching us. That is spirituality in action. The awareness of the self, the supreme, the karma philosophy and the time, cycle of time. To understand it in its fullest context and to apply it in every action. Yes? Any questions? Okay? 7:30. So let us apply that in a second. Let us go beyond in a second. Let us connect the mind and intellect with the highest on high in the second. The mind and intellect should not be pulled anywhere else. I should be able to visualize the dot. And in that dot, I see the ocean. I see the eternity. I see the limitlessness. And I see that within myself also.